Go. We are going in 5, 4, 3.
We ready right now.
Yeah.
All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Blame Your Brother. We are back once again for episode 237. That's right, episode 237. We have many things to discuss today. Today, the Mount Rushmore of The Office, the TV show characters. We're both big Office fans, so we're excited to jump into that topic. And a number of topics we didn't get to last week. I just want, before we jump into everything today, big thanks to Ender Bowen for stopping by last week. That was a lot of fun. Once again, I'm really excited for his album to drop in a couple of months. I'm excited, and that was fun. I mean, we're good friends with the guy.
Yeah.
It's always good to see old friends come back and say hello and everything. So we got Daniel McGriff in the chat. So we'll see if he sticks around as we discuss the news. But we are Blame Your Brother. We stream the show every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And there are two of us. I am one half of that duo. I am David, a.k.a. D-Brew, voice of the people, Glenn Jackson, the 40%er, the spiritual midget. And I sit next to this gentleman. His name is John.
Everybody, John here, a.k.a. Tico, a.k.a. Mr. Groupon, Mr. PTI, the Madman.
They got John Tortorella, a madman.
They do have madman.
Okay, he's a madman.
That's right. So David and John, we make up Blame Your Brother, and we are very excited to get to you. Now, we like to hit some listener comments if we ever get any. And, you know, with the Mount Rushmore, we're always going to get some comments. Good, bad, whatever. So we had a few, and I'll just kind of touch on those. Someone was very upset that... probably not seriously, but someone was very upset that Ender listed his own album as the Mount Rushmore of debut albums. But anyway, we had Chris Greger on Instagram said, here's my list. He had The Outfield, Play Deep, Beastie Boys, License to Ill, Pearl Jam 10, and Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style, which I told him, that's a great list. Minus The Outfield, those three could have easily made my... I mean, Pearl Jam was on yours, but that could have easily made my list for sure. We had Dopamine on Instagram. She always kind of comments. She had Biggie, Ready to Die, Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill, which, that's a good one. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
I should have had that one. I actually feel.
That is really good. I have that album, and so, yeah.
That would have actually replaced my number 4. That's shame on me for that. But anyways, Kanye West, College Dropout, which I did mention, almost made my list, and the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Fever to Tell, which is a good album.
On the other guy's list, did Outfield have a second album? They didn't, because that voids it. You can't have a debut album, not a second one.
Debut and first and last.
I mean, that's kind of the point is to have
he
more
listens.
than one album.
This is John talking to you. Tell us on it.
They might have another album. If they do, kudos to you. But there's 2 hits that they had.
And then, Steve thanks us on Instagram. Did this dude, Ender, really drop his own album as the Mount Rushmore entry? Yes, he did. That's called a shameless plug in the business. Nothing wrong with that. So that was just a few comments I pulled up. So once again, that was a fun list. Fun. I love talking music. I could talk it forever. Big news at the top of the show. Myself and John will be attending the Counting Crows concert coming up on
August 12th.
August 12th, which is a Thursday. So obviously we will not be here for that Thursday. We'll probably do it on a Wednesday, but that, we've talked about our love for the Counting Crows.
Yes.
We always get crap for it. I mean, does no one else love them except for us in our circle? Because I don't think so, man. Do you know anyone of our friends?
We need to go back to Cafe Coco's. That was always a big Counting Crows hotspot.
Oh, really?
People love that.
Maybe that's the crowd. Maybe we just got like. I used to hear them called groovers, like people that like more mainstream kind of rock and roll music, kind of like Greta Van Fleet or things like that, So anyway, well, I'm very excited about it. I cannot wait. This is in preparation for their new album or their new EP that's out right now. Have you listened to it yet?
I have not yet.
It's good. I mean, it's kind of unfair, I think, as a band progresses. There's few bands that continue the momentum. I mean, Foo Fighters is one where I'm like, my God, they're still making great albums.
Yeah, how do they have that in them? So
I don't know.
I mean,
most except like if you follow the Counting Crows, I would say I mean, obviously August and Everything After is one of the greatest debut albums of all time, but I think they've kept that momentum going until the end when it kind of dipped off. I think when they went Saturday mornings, Sunday evenings, I think there was a drop off there.
Yeah, that's probably my least favorite album.
Yeah,
of theirs,
but what are you going to do? But I'm very looking forward to it. It's always a great show. I've seen them multiple times. It's a different show every time. And, you know, and Daniel from the chat says, John is the only reason I listen to the Counting Crows, but they grew on me. I think if anyone takes it now at our age, and most of our friends are our age in their 40s, and they gave August and Everything After a listen, they would love it.
When they first came out, I did not like them. 'Cause I didn't like them based on, you know, their big hit was
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones,
Oh.
and then they followed that up with Around Here.
Yeah.
And I was just, but when I really listened to the album,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it just changed my world.
That's
And so-
interesting. Because I told you that Mr. Jones is one of my favorite songs of all time. I mean, the first time I heard that, I went, "Oh my God! I hope this band."
It's his voice that threw me off.
Okay, yeah,
so
that's
I
true.
just didn't like him.
Yeah.
And then when I started like really listening to the words that he was saying and not just the tone,
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, this guy's got something to say. And then like the tone of the music
Right,
came
yeah.
in, and it wasn't any more the tone of his voice, but the tenure of
Right.
his voice.
Yeah.
And how he was saying things as opposed to exactly how it sounded, that really like threw me for a loop. And to this day, I mean, they've been my favorite band for
Oh, they're fantastic.
15, 16 years.
So very
A
excited.
long time.
I read Arco and I sent it to John immediately. I said, they're playing right now. We need to go. John made it happen. He got some killer rates on the seats. So excited for that in a couple weeks. Now, this past week, I've had the same car since 2008. When my son was born, I went and got a Toyota Corolla, 2007. Was one of the most dependable. I mean, I had a Toyota truck before that from 99 to 2008. So the Toyotas have always done me right. But, you know, they get to the end of their life and they start having a little problem. So I went to CarMax and I got a new car. I got a Honda, what did I say it was?
HRV.
HRV. I went, I got it. I test drove it. I loved it. I said, Honda's great, you know, dependable, all that. And I'm driving home. My wife's like, your taillights aren't working. I went, that's not good. So I get a fuse. It doesn't work. So I had to take it back. They're fixing. I got a loaner. But I do have a new car. I'm going to pick it up tomorrow. That's very exciting. I mean, it sucks to have a car note. I mean, it's almost like worrisome, you know, to have one for the
Yeah.
next 5 years. But as we know, 5 years goes very quickly,
Yeah.
you know. And so I got that. So that was good. But then my wife had bought my son a basketball goal. He's been asking for one. It's one of those adjustable ones that you fill up with water or sand. You know, it's pretty cool.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, we used to have one. Have you ever put one of those together? It is.
Yes, it's a beast.
It is not fun.
Becky got my little sister got one for her boys. and
Okay.
she asked me to put it together for her. And
Oh.
there's some of the parts you need like 3 hands
Oh, yeah.
at least.
Oh,
Because you
yeah.
have to force certain pieces in a certain position just to put the screws in.
Yes. Oh, I know.
And I mean force. I mean, it's not just like, okay, line it up.
But
No.
this dude, so I went on YouTube. Well, my father-in-law was helping me, thank God. And we had the boys out helping. So we had 2. The boys weren't really doing much. But
Well,
I watched the YouTube, and this guy put it together by himself, and I went, this is ludicrous. This is absurd. This guy, I mean, more power to the guy, but I couldn't have put that thing together in 4 weeks by myself. If you...
I basically put it together,
Oh,
but it was
man.
I was not a fan.
And that is one of the things in life I hate is buying something and having to assemble it. Why is there not I think this would be a killer business idea, and I would be terrible at it because I am terrible at putting things together. I am terrible. I'm not good. I've determined puzzles and putting things together is not my thing, right? But there should be a service out there that literally comes to your house and assembles these things. I think people would pay for it. So anyone out there and you're good at it, I think you can make some good money doing that.
I'm trying to think of the last thing I had to put together.
Oh my God. As I moved into a new house, it's many things I've had to put together. And it's always like, oh, you're just ready to just...
We got a desk, one of those motorized desks that lowers and
Mm-hmm.
raises for my wife. I think that was the last thing I put together. Now, there's certain things I've had to take apart and re-put together here recently.
no.
Asher's got a big boy bed now.
Oh, that's
So I had
fun.
to take his crib apart and then reassemble it to match the way the bed is. And then we finally got Emily in her own room, and I did that Tuesday.
Okay.
So, but I had to take the crib apart to
Yep.
get it through the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so,
Fun.
yeah.
I hate it. So I hate it so much. I'm like, can we just buy this? I just want to buy it and have it shipped to me, put together. I don't know how that's possible with a basketball goal, but I know it's not a reality. But if you're out there and you're looking for a business idea,
I think if you get it on Amazon, I think there's a way that you could have it assembled.
Walmart assembles certain things for you,
Yeah.
not everything. I don't know about basketball goals, but anyways. But that was my week. Anything happening with you this week? So that's a pause.
I got called a racist last night. at
Okay,
work.
well, please do tell, because we have a bunch of racist stories coming up. So, yes, please share
Great.
before we jump into the news.
All right. Well, as people know, I work at Marriott, and I'm the night auditor, and we basically have our doors locked at night,
Right.
and so
For security reasons.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And so, someone came up, I just let him in, and it was a black guy, and as he was just gonna walk by, and I didn't recognize him,
Yeah.
and we're probably about half occupancy right now,
Mm-hmm.
so I know most of the people who are checked in. So I was like, hey, how can I help you? And he's like, oh, I'm here to visit somebody. I was like, can you give me the name of the person that you're visiting?
Oh, boy.
And as I was asking him, there was a couple that walked by. I guess they came in at the same time as he did.
A white couple.
A white couple.
Okay, yeah.
That just kind of just walked on by. And he gave me the name of the person. They weren't in our hotel. I was like, I'm sorry, that person isn't in that room. And he's like, hold on. And he called the person. He's like, oh, man, I'm sorry, I'm at the wrong hotel. And he leaves.
Okay.
No biggie.
So you think that's the end of this? But now for the rest of the story.
Rest of the story.
Oh, no. He comes
So,
back.
no.
Oh.
That couple that came in,
Stop.
they come down, and he says something. I couldn't hear him. And then I guess they're looking in the market, and then he just leaves. And he says something. I couldn't understand the word. I thought he said, there's no one blind in here, so I guess we're having fun.
Oh, boy.
That's what I thought he said. And then the
boy.
security guard was standing there at that time, and he couldn't tell what he said either. A few minutes later, he came back with his girlfriend or wife or whatever, and said, I couldn't register. I couldn't exactly tell what he said right when he said it.
Right.
But when I started thinking about it, I know what he said.
Okay.
But he said, hey, Hitler, what's going on?
No, he didn't. Stop it. He called you Hitler, bro.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'm like,
no.
and he went in the market. I'm thinking,
Oh, no.
did this motherfucker call me Hitler? And so when he was
Now,
about-
wait. Hold, pause. You have to describe these people now. What age are these people?
they were probably late 20s, early 30s.
Like hip,
They looked
White
like they'd
trash?
just come from like Bonnaroo.
hippies.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Continue.
So he started. They were doing. I guess they were using the microwave in the market area, and he was coming back. I was like, "Excuse me, what did you say when you came up here?"
Oh no.
And
You couldn't let it go, right?
No, not someone calling me.
I mean,
Hitler.
most people could have let it go. I'm saying you couldn't let it go.
I couldn't let it go.
Okay, all right.
Because realizing that he said Hitler,
Okay.
that comment earlier
Yeah.
when I didn't say anything it wasn't blind. It was there were no black people up here, so now we can have fun.
Oh, okay.
And so
Story continues. Okay, so you say, what did you say,
so I
sir?
said, it's like, excuse me, what did you say to me when you walked by here? And he had this like, oh, he's gonna call me out. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, call someone Hitler.
yeah,
They might
and
call you
he's
out
like-
on it.
And so he's like, kind of half regretting, but also half kind of standing his ground. He's like, I said, hey, Hitler. And I was like, why would you call me that? He's like, because you stopped the black guy and you didn't stop us. I was like, I didn't stop you because yesterday I had a 20-minute conversation with you about ordering pizza, so I recognized you. That guy was not a guest here. That's why I stopped him.
And he wasn't even in the right hotel.
Yeah.
But I mean, so what did he say once you said that?
He's like, but he was black. I was like, it doesn't matter what color he was. I was like, the doors are locked for a reason.
Right.
If I didn't stop people who came in that I didn't recognize, why would I lock the doors in the first place?
That's true.
You have a key. If I didn't unlock the door, you could use your key. You could still get in the building. He could not get in the building unless I rang him in. I at least let him come in. I didn't even have to do that.
Right.
I was like, I don't appreciate you saying that.
Oh my God, chiding the man.
And so
Nothing happened?
he eventually apologized, but it was kind of half-assed.
Oh man.
But
Wow. What a world.
I was so mad. I was shaking.
Yeah. I can feel you on that. There's nothing more insulting than calling someone a racist. And when the
nowadays,
person's not a
yeah.
racist, it is one of the most insulting direct hit things you can do to someone, because it's like if you're accused of a crime and you're innocent, but you can't prove your innocence. It's the same thing with that. Like,
Yeah.
I can't prove I'm not racist. Like, you don't even know me, dude. So, like, I may be married to a black woman and have biracial kids. You don't know anything about me. Now, I may be a blatant racist, but you don't know that.
Yeah. And it's one of
Wow.
those things where you're guilty until proven innocence, and you can't prove you're innocent.
Well, you can't prove it no matter what. Even if you have valid reasons or something, you're still racist. All right, dude. I mean, I think that truly, I would have said, I don't know what you said, but I would have been like, number one, the guy was in the wrong hotel.
No,
That's
so,
why I
yeah, I
stopped
mentioned that
people,
too,
dude.
yeah.
I mean, wow. Well, that's crazy. Well, that's a good little
But
story.
my thing is, if you're going to call somebody racist, don't do it after one exchange that you witness
Right.
when it's not super blatantly racist.
I mean, Hitler's like, that's strong, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were that offended by it, it seems they would just go, hey, we didn't appreciate the way you were talking to that black gentleman earlier, or
Yeah.
they'd probably say African American, but whatever they would say, well, that's crazy. Yeah.
But I mean, like, if I was blatantly, like, using the N-word
Right.
and that was the only exchange, I would get it.
Or if you said, hey, black man, come here. What are you doing in this? We don't have a lot of black people
Come here,
coming.
boy.
Yeah,
I
come here,
mean,
boy. We don't have any black people in this hotel. Like, I don't know. People are nuts, dude.
Yeah.
To even say that, I would never, unless I, like you said, blatantly heard the N-word. I even then I wouldn't go, hey, Hitler. Like that's like, Hitler's another thing that's very boom. That's like going straight to the point to someone. Like, hey, Hitler. Like, all right, dude. Yeah, I mean, he's like the worst guy of all time. Like, if you did a Mount Rushmore, most evil people ever,
he's going to be on the list.
we might have to do that now. He's number one, right? I mean, like, there's no one else past him. So
Number 4, judging hippies.
yeah, right. So from Bonnaroo. Well, there you go. Well, John got called a racist, everyone. Well, that's going to lead perfectly into the stories of the week. So let's start with a local one here real quick. Just want to hit on it real quick. Not know if you're familiar with it. Are you familiar with a company called Hatworks in Nashville? You ever heard of Hatworks in Nashville?
No, not really.
So this is a business on 8th Avenue, and they sell hats. Hence
What?
Hatworks. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And they
It's
have
not clever at all.
they have an Instagram account, and it's a new Nashville. A bunch of the Bohemians are coming here. They like to get hats. That's cool. Whatever,
Yeah.
Well, anyways, they decided this was a great idea. And I always say, if you're ever going to come up with an idea as a business owner, you probably want to have a few channels to run that through before you decide to push it out.
Maybe
So-
like a marketer.
Yeah, so they're anti-vaxxers. They're definitely lean to the right, I'll say that.
Great.
And they were selling, if you can see in the picture, they were selling a Star of David patch that said not vaccinated. And they said this is comparable. The persecution of the non-vaccinated people in America is this is what they're saying is
Please
comparable.
tell me not the Holocaust.
Yes, it's comparable to
Oh
the
my
Jews at the
gosh.
Holocaust. Now, this is how you also know this was another, she didn't check with anybody. She posted this on Instagram, and it did not go well. People started going, excuse me? You need to take that down immediately. Now, she did delete the Instagram post, but social media rule is people have screen captured it, and it's in there, you
Yeah.
know. And so now people started, this guy here, as you see on the screen if you're watching live, is that a lot of people protested. It just wasn't one person. It was a lot of people. And they also lost a number of their business providers. So Stetson said, we're no longer going to sell you our hats. A number of people that sold them their hats have said, no, we're not selling you hats anymore. So if you're in Nashville and you heard about that, that's kind of one of the stupid stories of the week. I mean, what what is wrong with these people, man? Like, even and then never even really apologizes for it. Just like, well, I was just trying to make a point about no one's allowing us to think the way we think and da 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 da. It's like, well, man, look, you can think whatever you want, but when you start comparing yourself to a group of people that were literally, to speak of Hitler, were murdered
Yeah.
by the millions for who they
concentration camps.
yes,
I mean,
tortured,
I
murdered.
think concentration camps is probably the least bad thing that happened to them.
Right? Yeah, I know. It's
That's
it was
the equivalent. That's not even close to saying, "Hey, can you wear a mask, please?"
right, but they think it is, John. That's what's crazy. They really think it is. They think it's the same thing. It's like, pick another historical moment. Like, I mean, I don't even know what a historical moment would coincide with it. But the point is, this woman now has lost a lot of business because of this. And it comes into this cancel culture movement we're in right now, where Marsha Blackburn is introducing legislation to end cancel culture, which I don't even understand how that's even possible. And I was talking to a lot
I mean, as much as I'm against cancel culture, I don't like it. But
what is cancel culture?
the thing is, it's also part of free speech.
Right, but what is cancel culture? What is? No one can give me. Here's the thing. So the Republicans, first, John Rich of Big and Rich, he tweeted out something today, going, "Man, these country artists, they're going to have to stand up for the things we stand for." You know, he didn't really say what it was, but it was kind of implied cancel culture. Look, when the Dixie Chicks said they didn't like Bush, they were canceled by the right. Okay, when the cake maker didn't make the cake for the gay couple, they rallied behind this person. Now, these are examples of the same situation. Are they saying, is Marsha Blackburn saying, no, there will be no more penalties for saying whatever you want to say? Is that really the world they want to live? Like, really think about that.
Well, the thing is by saying you're canceling cancel culture, aren't you canceling?
Yes, I mean, that is the irony of it. Yes, I mean, you're canceling cancel culture. So, yes, it's the same thing.
Okay.
So that brings us into the next story, which is star of The Office and also star of The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt was under a little bit of hot water this past week because of something that happened in her past. So the actress's name is Ellie Kemper. She is I think she's great. I think she's great in The Office. I thought she was great on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. She's also in the movie Bridesmaids. Well, everyone's talking about it. Someone on Twitter found a picture of her. She was crowned Queen of Love and Beauty at the Veiled Prophet Ball in 1999. Now, the Veiled Prophet Ball, I mean, there's some problems probably with that anyways, in St. Louis. The Atlanta's article alleges the organization was founded by wealthy white elites in 1877, and black members were barred from joining until 1979. So she comes from old money. We all know what that means. And her parents were rich, and they came from probably plantation money is what I take it to mean. So anyways, someone found this picture of her, and they said, "Oh, I didn't know that she was a member of the KKK." Like, these tweets go out. You know, that's the thing about Twitter. Anything goes. And so this brought up an entire conversation about it, basically saying, dubbing her the KKK queen. This one has kind of died down a little bit. She did offer an apology and just said,
how old was she when that happened?
19. And the organization has changed. I mean, it's changed. It's not, obviously back then was very racist. I mean, to say wealthy white elites want to push this narrative of, maintaining our status quo, there's some ties to racism in there, subconscious, societal racism, whatever. I think it's changed quite a bit. It's still mainly all white people, and I still have a huge problem with that. But it's not up to me to dictate. I can't go to a group and go, you can't be all white people, you can't be all black people, you can't be all this and this and that. That's freedom in America. But she was in the news, luckily, in this case. And I find this about cancel culture. If we look into it, and it's not that bad, most of the time nothing really happens. But even if you say really it was really bad, Louis C.K., Kevin Spacey, these people are back to working. Jeffrey Toobin, who exposed himself on a Zoom call, he's back at CNN. And I know those are examples of all white people, so I mean maybe there's something to that. But all white men, but all elderly rich white men. But I think it kind of balances itself out. That's what I'm saying with cancel culture. The people can't stop cancel culture. It's the businesses, it's the organizations, it's the Viacoms, it's the Disney, it's the ABC. They're the ones that control the cancel culture. I have really no authority over it. I may say, I don't like Kevin Spacey. I'm not going to go see his movie. And if it's just me saying it, the movie company's going to go, we don't really care about you. Now, I understand they care about a group of people, but at the end of the day, it's their call. It's not like a group of people are getting together and they have executive decisions over these companies to ban people. So I don't know how you stop it. Are you going to tell companies they can't enforce their stand? That'd be ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people that really wish that would happen, because then you could just go to work, say whatever you want to say. Just go, man, I hate women. I hate blacks. I hate Jews. I hate all of you people. I hate you all. Can you fire me? Nope, because Marsha Blackburn said it's canceled. I think it's kind of silly. You know, Republicans that tout themselves as, you know, free market individuals, you have to let the market dictate what the rules are.
I think what she's doing is against the actual, like, original goal of Republicans.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for real. Yes.
The original, byline of Republicans is to influence everyday people as little as possible.
Right. Yeah.
Let people live their lives. And when we need government,
right,
that's when you step in.
Right.
If you don't need government, then
if a business is just saying we're not going to hire black people, yes, the government's got to get involved and go, no, you can't do that. If you have extreme views, it's the business. As you represent them as an employee, they have the right to go, man, you got to chill out with that. Like, I keep coming back to Gina Carano. They told her, stop saying these things. Like, they gave her warnings. It's not like they just were like, you're fired after one. Stop it. Yeah. Now, if your boss tells you to do anything, stop doing that. If you keep doing it repeatedly, they have the right to exercise some type of discipline, including losing your job. It'd be like, well, I just come into work late every day. They can't fire me. You know, it's like, no, they can't. You know, that's the agreement we have with our employers. So that, she was in the news this past week. And like I say, she apologized and basically just said, you know, I was unaware of these ties. I should have known better. I'd just say 19 years old. Give me a break, man. I mean, you think any 19-year-olds out there researching the history of an organization they belong to? Probably not.
Especially when their parents, like,
right.
It's important to their parents.
Yeah. Now, like, yeah, if they were members of the KKK, yeah, that's a little different. But we know that's, you know, out and about racism. And I just think we put a lot of burden on these people as young people as well, like 19, 20, 21. I'm not saying you can go out and just be a AKA, as a guy called John, a Hitler, but you know, if you're involved in stuff and you're not really aware of it and it's not out and about, come on, man. I mean, this is a chance. Culture really is a chance to educate people, and not. I think that's how we should handle it. It's not should be so harsh as a whole internet community coming after someone, is to educate.
Yeah.
Because that's, maybe she didn't know that, and she seems like the person that says, okay, well, I know it now, so I don't know, man. It's just kind of crazy. So I don't know. That was cancel culture, man, is like, it's in the news every week now, you know, and it's going to be an ongoing decision. Is it going to stop anytime soon? You know, usually things swing. The pendulum usually swings wide both ways. So we may enter a new era where anything goes. We may go back to the non-politically correct era at some point. I mean, I think it could happen. You know, I hope it doesn't happen, because some of that stuff was bad. We just didn't know it was bad, you know. So, I mean, it'd be no different than if someone said, oh, David and John. You know, I'm going to drop a word that's kind of controversial these days, but I'm just telling you what it was called. Back in the day, there was a game called Smear the Queer, okay? And it was, you throw the ball to someone, everybody tries to tackle them. Now, look, at the time when I was 9 years old, I didn't even know what the word queer meant. You know, I was like, I just thought it meant, well, at the time, I thought, weirdo, outcast, whatever, you know. As you get older,
the definition, like, of the word is just something that's different from the others.
Right. Yeah. And so I guess smear the outsider is, I mean, there obviously are connotations to that being related to gay people. You know, I get it. But if someone saw, like, you played that when you were 9, well, you can't have a job anymore. It's like, all right, dude, you got to calm down with it. That's the part of cancel culture. I'm like, let's calm down and have conversations instead of, we're not grabbing our pitchforks and running up and burning the castle down. You know, like, let's have a conversation, people. But I think right now we're past that. The conversations are done, man. Like, you can't have conversations with people that are radically different than you for the most part. I mean, there's occasionally you meet someone, but for the most part, people are like, you like that? Screw you. And it's like, well, we're going to get far with that, guys. That's real good. So, well, anyways, that brings us the tie-in to the show The Office. So we're doing the Mount Rushmore of Office characters. Everyone, The Office is a show that everyone seems to love. I mean, it's rare I've met anyone that doesn't like it. It's rare I've met anyone that hasn't watched it for the most part, right?
My wife claims she doesn't like it.
Really?
But whenever I'm watching it, which is often, I mean, my son calls the show Michael Scott.
Ah, okay.
Like if he sees any character, he's like, "Oh, Michael Scott's on."
Yeah.
And so, but there's been times I'll caught her, like, laughing, and so
How can anyone hate this show? It's number one.
She thinks parts of it's kind of crass, but I've caught her laughing too many times. That
I mean, look, we're adults. Crass is the way it goes. If you don't want crass, you shouldn't be watching probably anything on network TV at this point.
Yeah.
With the way things go now. Any sitcom that's not on Disney or ABC, it's got a little bit of crassness to it. But it's hard for me to find. Well, Daniel says he's never watched it. Man, I can't believe someone out there has never watched one episode. One. It is very enjoyable. It's very digestible. It goes quickly. I think it's hilarious. I think the writing's great. Glenda said she's never watched it. So here we go.
Oh,
Apparently
wow.
all of our listeners have never, so they're going to be lost on this Mount Rushmore, man. But that's all right. I love the show. I think it's one of the greatest shows ever made. I know our friend Kent will be mad that we didn't invite him on to do this Mount Rushmore, but whatever. He can listen along. He loves The Office. I know a lot of people love it. So me and John decided, since Ellie Kemper was in the news and John said everybody's going back to work, getting into The Office, Mount Rushmore of The Office characters. Not a lot of research for this one because we love the show.
I just love the show.
So we'll probably be talking. Now we do have, if you're listening now and you're like, man, I'm about to bounce. We do have a Dear John this week that someone sent us, and it's going to be pretty good. So I would just stick around for this. If you don't know The Office, listen, watch it, and then you can come back one day and say, oh yeah, I agree. All right, so we're going to list the Mount Rushmore of Office characters. All right, the ones I feel to me are the best and most essential to the show. All right, so I get to go first this week, and this is a layup, and we said anyone would pick. We could almost have said top Mount Rushmore of Office characters that aren't Michael Scott, but we didn't. So number one, Michael Scott, the boss of Dunder Mifflin, the catalyst of the entire show, the worst boss or best boss, John? What do you think of him? If he was your boss, now he is the boss of a fictional paper company called Dunder Mifflin. He is a narcissist. He is someone who believes he is the funniest person in the room. He always wants to be the center of attention.
It's like he's got like social anxiety, but like also a narcissist at the same time.
He wants to be loved.
So weird, yeah.
He wants to be loved. That's his ultimate crime. He wants to be in love and loved by people. So he is the boss of the company, and always his shenanigans on most episodes are provided by stuff he's done. He calls wacky, office meetings that are ridiculous. That he tries to spread his wisdom to people. Now, the irony is, they sell paper. He is one of the best salespeople that's ever existed in the company.
Yeah.
And I've always said, as the show goes on from season 1 to season 9, all the paper companies of Dunder Mifflin were all getting canceled except for their company. And I said, well, this dude must be doing something right. Or, because I don't know, I look at the salespeople and I don't think they're that great either. So I don't know, man. I think would you want him as your boss? That's the question, John. Yes or no on this one? It's not a maybe.
I mean, there's a whole lot of ifs that would go into that.
But yes or no, just off the cuff. I would say yes while you think about it, because I've had worse bosses, 100%.
I mean, if I was in like high school and like things didn't really matter, I
Well,
would
no,
love
you're
it.
you're you.
But me now.
At the hotel you work at, would you want him as your boss? That's the question you got to think about. I would take him in a minute. I would be Jim looking at the camera all the time, just going, "Is this really happening? Because this is amazing." Because he is funny, but he's not funny. He's funny because you're laughing at him, not with him.
It just seems like when push comes to shove, though, he would throw you under the bus.
Rarely he does, though. I mean, he said, Dwight, who deserves it, Dwight screwed him over several times. But anyway, so yeah, my number one, Michael Scott. That's a layup. So, all right, John, who is your number one on the Mount Rushmore?
I mean, you mentioned him.
Yeah.
Dwight K. Schrute.
Yeah, Dwight is another one that's very, essential to the show. The assistant to
the regional
the
manager.
regional manager. He's not the assistant regional manager. He's the assistant to the regional manager. And you described Dwight. How would you describe Dwight Schrute
Oh
to
my
people?
gosh. Definitely a nerd. A geek.
Doesn't know he is, though.
Bears, Beats, and Battlestar Galactica. I mean,
He loves those three things. He does love Bears. He has a beet farm, and he loves Battlestar Galactica. He reminds me and John used to be in Police Explorers, which we talk about a lot. He reminds me of many people that were in Police Explorers. Many of those people grew up to be Dwight Schrute 100%.
I mean, he would definitely be a cop if he could be.
Yes, he is definitely a wannabe cop for sure. He hides weapons around the office.
Yeah.
One of the greatest cold opens, if you're familiar with the show or not, they always have cold opens. They open the show in the middle of action. And he does a mock fire drill where he locks all of the doors in the room. He puts hot things on the door handles, throws smoke everywhere in the office, and everyone's freaking out. They're throwing things out windows, and he thought this was a good idea. That tells you kind of. But he is Michael's right-hand man for the most part. He wants to ascend. He does want to be the boss, which at one point he does get to be the boss. And, I mean, as you can guess, probably doesn't work out so well. But he's, if you had to have a lackey, there's worse ones to have. He's not bad. He is pretty loyal for the most part.
If he doesn't think you're trying to hold him down,
Right.
he will basically do anything for you.
Yeah.
Just don't give him that impression that
Right.
you're trying to.
But he loves Michael Scott. Like, that's,
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what, it's the most, if we did top, like, platonic bro loves, that's got to be up there, man, because those guys, Michael Scott doesn't love him as much. He does, but he doesn't show it. But yes, Dwight and him have a very interesting relationship. So, yeah, he's the driving force of the show as well.
Dwight is the only person that Michael doesn't go out of his way to try to get him to like him.
Right, yeah. That's interesting. So,
Yeah.
all right. So we got Michael Scott, Dwight Schrute. Well, I'm going with my guy. I feel that the guys I watch more and more, I'm like, this is me. If I was ever on a TV show, Jim Halpert, that's me. Jim is he's the most normal guy of the group. I mean, he's pretty normal. I mean, there's nothing crazy about him. He's known for his pranks, which.
There's only like two really normal people on the whole show.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
Yeah.
So
So he's a normal guy. He falls in love with Pam, the secretary, and they end up in a relationship, married, kids, and everything. But he is this kind of he is the audience a lot of the time. Like when something, you've seen his face in GIFs for sure. It's that he looks at the camera. Because, okay, so if you don't know, I'm just going to say this real quick. This concept of the show is this is a paper company being filmed by a documentary crew for several years. For whatever reason. I don't know. It'd be a really good documentary, but whatever it's supposed to be.
There are theories, and one of the theories is that someone killed himself the year prior they started the filming,
Yeah.
and that's why they're doing the show.
Ah, okay.
And there's a couple of throughout the seasons, and it's not just a one-off. There's different mentions of this person that killed himself.
Well, there we go. Whatever the documentary crew, but Jim always looks at the camera and is just like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, this is insanity, right? He's basically going, is this happening? Are you seeing this?
He's the fourth wall breaker.
Yes. And so, he's a jokester. He doesn't really care about his job, which I submit to a lot. And he essentially, he kind of matures over the show as well. I think he has a very good character arc of all the people. You can see him mature slow. It's not like one day he's like, oh, I'm a responsible. He still has his moments of wackiness, but he does mature a lot, and as he becomes a family man, he's trying to, do better for his family. And I just love him. I could watch the entire series just about him. And I think the actor John Krasinski is amazing as well. So that helps,
The big thing about Jim, the two things is like him flirting with Pam and him trying to get Dwight riled
Oh,
up.
some of the best pranks ever. I'm like, man, I wish
Out of the gate.
I've pranked many people at work, many people, and I wish I'd come up with those level of pranks. But some of them require a lot of work, and mine are more short-sighted pranks. His are like long-term.
He plans ahead.
Yes.
I'm with you. I like to play pranks too, but it's like spur of the moment.
Right,
Like
yeah.
I can do this real quick. Blah
Yeah.
blah blah.
Like we would call it work with the voice, like the the soundboard of like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You could play different sounds. We would call different people, and some of them would be clueless. They would be like, "What did you say? I am your daddy," or whatever. It's like, oh my god, dude. So, anyways, Jim Halpert, my number 2. All right, who's your number 2, John? It's
My
gonna
number
be-
2.
I don't know who.
You're gonna go with the character that I guess embodies you the most. I figured
Oh no, don't.
the
do it.
character that I've
No.
been told
John, this guy's the worst.
he is the worst. And I mean, there's only like one aspect that he's like me, but Andy Bernard.
Oh, Andy Bernard, man. Played by
Ed Helms.
famous from The Office and The Hangover as well.
Hangover, yeah.
Great in The Hangover. So describe him since he's you.
Andy Bernard is all about musical theater.
Oh yeah.
If there's any mention of musical theater, he's the one that's bringing it up. He's almost any episode where he's on the air for more than like 5 or 6 minutes, he's singing somewhere in the episode. And when he went to Cornell, which he mentions constantly,
Every episode, yeah.
he was in a
Barbershop Quartet.
an a cappella group
Yes, acapella
called
group.
Here Comes Treble.
Oh jeez.
Puns galore.
And he falls in love with Ellie Kemper's character. What's her name on there? The secretary. I can't remember her name.
Erin.
Erin, yeah. So he falls in love with Erin. So it's kind of like a Jim Pam type story. After Jim and Pam get together, I guess they figured, well, we got to have another person fall in love with the secretary. Now, Andy Bernard started as like an angry character who was like mad all the
Yes.
time. And I get my theory on that is the writer was like, this isn't going to work. We can't have this guy. He was in a different branch and he got moved to their branch. I think the writers were like, nah, bro, we're going to have to make this guy goofy if he's going to fit in. And so he went to anger management on the show and he came back. And I mean, he's got some pretty good moments. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
My funniest moment is they were spreading somebody.
Rumors.
So they're spreading rumors and someone said,
Am I gay?
Andy's gay. And he's like, am I gay? I was like, okay, that was really telling of that. So pretty funny. All right. Any more thoughts on Andy Bernard?
No.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm going to go number 3. Well, favorite character. This may be my actual favorite character on the show.
I think I know who you're saying.
Creed.
Yeah.
I love Creed. I forget his last name.
Bratton.
Yeah, it's his real name.
That's his real name.
The actor's name is Creed Bratton, and the character on the show is Creed Bratton.
Actually, his character is not Creed Bratton. That is an alias.
That's true. Yes, that's true. He did apparently he either killed someone or someone died. And it's never really clear. The best thing about Creed is a creepy old guy who apparently does nothing at work because
Beyond creepy.
a new manager comes in or an HR person says, "This is my favorite. What do you do, Creed?" He goes, "What do I do?" That's a really good question. He goes, "I'll be right back with you on that." And the next shot's him in his car peeling out of the parking lot. And he's like, "What do these people want? They want to know my name. What do I do? What do they?" So he's got some great, every creepy moment. Like they had a Halloween party and he
That's
shows
my
up.
favorite one.
He shows up drenched in blood and they go, "Oh, Creed, you got dressed up for the Halloween party?" He goes, yeah, that's what it is. So he is fantastic. Every scene he's in is so memorable. He's got some of the funniest. I love him. Creed's the best. So that's my number 3, Creed. I love him.
Excellent one.
All right, who you got? Number 3.
I got to go for the low hanging fruit and go with Kevin.
That was going to be my number 4 if you didn't grab it. Kevin is
He's the Cookie Monster.
to me he's a real life Homer Simpson. If they cast The Simpsons as a live action movie, he's got to play Homer Simpson.
That's a good one. Yeah.
He is a moron.
Yeah.
To put he loves to eat and he's stupid. And the chili scene, there's a scene where he brings in chili.
And the thing is, he's talking about while he's coming in, he's like there's the voiceover, and he's talking about this chili and how painstakingly it is to make this chili.
It took a while to make.
Like aging different,
yes, different
instrument-
ingredients,
ingredients,
everything.
everything.
I mean, this took may have taken days, truthfully, the way he's describing it. And of course, Homer Simpson style trips. The chili goes everywhere, and he's trying to scoop it up, and you just feel you feel bad for the guy at times, but he's such a moron sometimes. You're like, I don't really feel bad for this guy. He's kind of a goof, and I feel he got a lot of shine as the seasons went on. And I've heard interviews with the actual actor, and he seems like a really cool guy in real life. He seems nothing like that character.
Well, I mean, even the voice, he puts on a voice to
Oh
play
yeah,
Kevin.
it's ridiculous.
And like if you met the guy without knowing The Office, there'd be like there's no way he could even do that voice.
Right. No, because he's normal. He's like you say, he sounds like a cool dude. I'm like, dude, I want to hang
Yeah,
out
he
with him.
sounds like somebody that would like do play-by-plays for football.
Yeah, because he's a sports guy, and he said he went to the writers one point. And goes, guys, some of this physical stuff, it's getting out of control. We got to tone this down a little bit, because he talked about the chili scene, and he said he did it in like one take, fortunately. But he said, dude,
He said he smelled
it was
for like
all
weeks.
yeah. So
He couldn't get the smell out of his skin.
Kevin that's a fantastic one. Yeah, he's good. So, any more thoughts on Kevin?
I do like that there are rare moments where he has like moments of like genius,
Yeah,
like just super smart tidbit pinpricks
right.
of moments. And so I just appreciate that. It's just really he's great.
Right. Okay. Well, I've come down to my last one. This is another one of my favorite ones. When she's in a scene, some of these people are, the funniest jokes to me are not like the Michael Scott. I mean, I laugh at those, but I laugh at the throwaway lines where you're just like, that is so funny. I want to know more about this character, but they never really reveal, like Kevin and Creed, they never really reveal too much about him. You don't really know too much about him. Meredith, I absolutely love. Meredith is the best. I mean, Meredith
she's
is
almost like a female Creed.
That's why, yeah, you can see why I like them
Yeah.
both. So Meredith is this older woman. She's a redhead, and it comes out that she likes to get it on. I mean, that's kind of her principal thing. She likes to hook up with the guys. There's one episode where Michael thinks he's being fired, so she walks into his office and goes, "You know that thing we talked about on your last day? We'd go out and get it on and Michael goes, "That wasn't me." She goes, "You sure that wasn't you?" He goes, "No, that wasn't me." And so then she has to go around and ask everyone in the office essentially if it was them. She does ask Creed, and Creed's like, "It wasn't me, but let's do it," So Meredith, I mean, just so many
She's
great.
definitely a train wreck in every sense.
Oh, I love her. She's drunk all the time.
There's earlier on they had in the series they had a bring your kid to work day, and she's got a son.
Yeah,
and
yes.
he's a mess. He's all over the place.
Yes.
Last season, Angela, one of the other characters, Dwight, end up getting married,
Mm-hmm.
and they're having a bachelorette party, and they hire a stripper. The stripper is her son, same actor
Oh my God.
as an adult, and she's at the party, and she's like cheering him on.
Oh my God.
She's like, "You got it, Jake. I'm so proud of you."
Oh,
while
my
he's
God.
trying this trip.
That's great. Yeah, I love Meredith. Any scene she's in, I'm like, I'm ready for this joke, and it's always delivers. That's the great ones. When they have just one joke a show, it always kills. That's what I'm saying. The writing on this is so good because it's little like small jokes. There was one line that was so great. It's that I don't think Gabe made your list, but Gabe was like, he's this creepy guy, and
Yeah, Gabe's kind of.
he was introduced, and he goes, yeah, I'm a little bit of a movie snob. My two favorite movies are Citizen Kane and Boondock Saints. I thought that was the greatest line. That I was like, that is the most snooty film hipster in the entire world. Citizen Kane, Boondock Saints are his two. I love that. That's what I'm saying. The writing is like, it's like throwaway lines like that. I'm like, damn, I wish I'd written that line.
And
That's-
Gabe is like one of those people where if you walked into their apartment of any one of the cast, and there were mannequins, plural, all over their apartment, it would have been Gabe.
Well, they did show his apartment. You remember that episode? It was kind of weird, man.
He's
It was like
very creepy.
Japanese
He's
influence room.
Really into like C-list horror movies, like
Oh,
really
yeah.
creepy things.
He's a guy that thinks he is a indie like film like connoisseur, but he's really not. That's what's great about Citizen Kane and like Boondock Saints. Those are movies that like people like, I really like, and I was like, dude, those movies are not good, man. That's just what people say to impress other people. So that's good. Anyways, okay, who's your last one, John?
I am going to go with a person that is kind of a caricature of being an airhead, and I'm going to go with Kelly.
All right.
Kelly she talks a million miles a minute,
Yeah.
and she's like I said, she's almost a caricature. She's into everything except the things that you would think she would be into as an Indian girl.
She hates the culture, man.
Yeah. And so
She tries to act like when it benefits her, she tries to act like she's all about it. And they're
yeah.
like, because Gabe was
Then
like,
they ask her questions
like,
about
what's
it. and
that?
She's
What's
like,
that dot on your head? She goes, I'm really offended you would ask me that. And I was like, oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah, her and what's his
Ryan.
name? Ryan have a ongoing romance, but I would not have guessed Kelly for you. That's interesting.
There's so many avenues, and we were talking about it. I was like, I was hoping you weren't going to pick Creed because I really wanted to put him on the list.
Dude, Creed could have been number one. Truthfully, that's how
But-
much I love Creed. He's
yeah.
probably my favorite guy on the entire show. But anyway, okay. So that's our list. I also want to just mention, who else did we leave out that people might be offended? I mean, Stanley's great. Don't get me Stanley. I work with people like Stanley. That's why I'm like, yeah, that
Yeah.
dude's like legit. Gabe is probably the worst character on the entire series, which is saying a lot.
I mean, I don't know. I'd probably say Ryan's probably the worst.
If I had to hang out with Ryan or Gabe, I'd hang out with Ryan. I mean, I know they're both.
I mean,
pretty
hanging
bad.
out with that's different.
If I had to work, Gabe's terrible, dude. I think you forgot how bad he is. But anyway.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So our list recap: I had Michael Scott, Jim Halpert, Creed, and Meredith, and John had Dwight Schrute, Andy Bernard, Kevin, and Kelly. So that is our Mount Rushmore of Office characters. We know there are fans out there. Let us know who your four, pivotal characters are on the show, and we'd love to hear from you. So that was Office Talk. Now it's time for a segment that has been dearly needed. It's time for a little Dear John.
By the time you read these lines, I'll be gone.
All right. So if you're new or if it's been a while, Dear John, if you ever have a question or you need advice or something's going wrong in your life, you're like, steer me right. I don't know why you would write to us, but you can write to us. You can DM us. You can email us. I will read this and John will give the advice. And if you've ever watched the past, okay. Anyway, Dear John, a few months ago, I started a business doing consulting with a good friend of mine. Already a mistake. We created the LLC and are starting to get clients. Recently, I had a lot of life-changing events. And I started a full-time job. I'm afraid to tell my friend because she will take it personally and have some choice words from me. I know this because a month ago, something tragic happened to me and I just couldn't respond to anyone for a few days. She brought this up and told me that since I am her business partner, I have to communicate with her at all times. She got really upset about it and I set her straight and told her I was allowed to grieve and do whatever was necessary for myself. She wants this business to grow so it will be her main source of income. I understand and appreciate that, but that's not how my life is going right now. But I still put all my energy and extra time into getting clients for us. So here's the question. Should I just tell my friend I got a full-time job and have her and cut her loose? And have her lose it on me, or keep hiding it until it accidentally comes out? So I'll read it again. Should I just tell my friend I got a full-time job and have her lose it on me, go off on her, or do I keep hiding it until it accidentally comes out? That's a tough one, man. Now, now the parameters are, it's a good friend of hers, and it sounds like a best friend. Okay, so put yourself in their shoes. Me and you go to a business together, and I tell you, if anything happens to you, you have to tell me, John. No matter what it is, low point, fight with your wife, death in your family, you're just feeling bad that day, you need to tell me these things, brother, because that sounds like a marriage. It don't sound like a business.
Yeah.
But anyways, so should she tell her or she just let it come out one day?
I mean,
This is going to be good.
I'd probably tell her because I mean this person's making money
Yeah.
and
She wants it to be her full-time job.
yeah,
The friend does.
and if what this person's doing would limit that, then they need to be able to take action in order to like if that might mean more workload for the friend, then
Yeah.
they could prepare for that.
Right. I think it's a question of,
Now, some of the other stuff that this person mentioned, it has nothing to do with work, really.
no, I mean,
And so, yeah, there's some things that you shouldn't have to.
I think you have to.
You're not my
yeah.
babysitter.
Well, you have to
You're
set
not my
those.
boss.
You have to set those parameters at the beginning of the business,
Yeah.
which most people probably don't, to be fair. But hey, if I'm having some rough things going on at my house, and we're trying to start, I'm going to let you know. I mean, I think it would be the right thing to let people know. Maybe not the extent of what's going on, but just going, hey, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be doing work for the next couple of days. I'm just dealing with some personal things, and say, is not saying it's cool, just saying that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
Now you got to think, you're opening a business. It's a tough road to climb up, and you do need to put all of your attention, but life happens, and even now having a full-time job, I'm with John. I mean, there's no way you can't tell this person this. I think it's being worse as a friend to not tell them that, hey, but now they're going to look at that and go, oh, you got a full-time job, so you don't believe in our company. You're screwed either way you go. All right. I mean, I guess her point is, do I tell her or do I not tell her and try to continue working on the business as well as I can? And then one day maybe it comes out. We always say, John always say, I agree. I mean, most of the time, a lot of the time, the truth is the best way to go. Not all the time. I know no one wants to hear that, but sometimes you can't be completely honest with people.
I mean, sometimes there's a difference between, honesty is the best policy and full disclosure.
Right. I always say honesty is the best policy unless you have to lie. That's my saying.
There
That's
you
almost
go.
a Michael Scott saying, but I think that's true. I think it's just a way to deliver it. So basically, we're telling this person, you're telling this person, I co-sign on this one for once, that she just needs to tell her.
Yeah.
She needs to just call her or sit down with her and just go, hey,
Even mention it nonchalantly like it's not a big deal.
I mean, they're going to make it a big deal. But yeah, I would just say, hey, I got to tell you something. I've got a full-time job now. I will continue to do the business, and we can talk about what the split's going to be moving forward. Like, obviously, if you're doing it 8 hours a day and I'm doing it like 2 or 3 hours a day, you're obviously going to get a bigger cut of it.
Yeah.
Unless she's doing more work than the friend. We don't know that either. Sometimes people can work 8 hours and another person can work 3 hours and do more work than them. Really, the advice is you really probably shouldn't go into business with your friends. I mean, I hate to say that, but
I mean,
what is the outcome going to be? I mean, most businesses fail.
Yeah.
So that's going to put a strain on your friendship. I know everybody wants to work with their friends.
Now,
and,
if there's a project that you're doing that might end up making money,
yeah, that's
different.
But this sounds like this is.
But if you're
trying to be a
depending on this thing,
yeah, right. Like if me and John were like, yo, we're going to start doing, like we talked about this one time. I mean, just like spitball, like we should do like weddings, like DJ at weddings. That's something like, all right, man, like that's not our full-time gig. If it turns into it, I think though from, I don't want to say you should never go into business with your best friend, but start off slow and see how it happens. And you're going to know early on, like this isn't working, so you can back out. But if you go all in, you're kind of left at the mercy of.
Well, I mean, also your friends are. Everybody has different personality. Everybody has
Right.
different facets.
Yeah.
And I mean, when somebody's nose to the grindstone doing their job, working,
Yeah.
that's not the same person that you're having beers with at the pub.
That's very true. That's very true. No one thinks about that, but you're very true
And
about
so
that.
if you've got to know that personality.
Yes,
of
I
your
have.
friend.
Yes, I've worked with many friends that I did not necessarily love as coworkers. But I liked them enough as friends, and sometimes I just tell them to say, yeah. I mean, I never told them they were a crappy coworker, but it's like, you could work a little bit harder. I mean, but yeah, you like different
I mean,
aspects.
we worked at the same job for briefly for a while at the Fountain Apartments, but it was kind of a choke job.
We're
almost.
both we both didn't do anything.
Yeah,
so.
we both. I mean,
But no, when you're trying to build something up, I get it. It can be stressful, and it's like I say, it's really tough to maintain a friendship if things go wrong because someone's probably going to blame the other one. But hey, man, you know better than me. So John, wrap it up. Tell her or don't tell her,
tell her honesty. Do it.
unless you have to lie.
Unless you have
That's
to
dear
lie.
John.
For John, since we've sung last song, dear John.
All right. That was the show, Dear John. If you want to reach us, you can email us at bybpod@gmail.com. That's bybpod@gmail.com. Or just hit us up on any of the socials and we'll respond to those. We love those. So we would love you. It can be yours. It can be someone you know. It can even be fictional if you want to send us one. We love that. It's always fun. So that's the end of the episode. We learned a lot about John being called a racist. We went deep dive into The Office and we're solving people's problems. And that's what we're all about here. So if you want more of that, you're going to check out past episodes. Go to the website, which is bybpod.com. bybpod.com. That's bybpod.com. That is the website that's not popping up. But if you go there on the internet, you will find all of our past episodes. You'll find all of our social media links. You will find merchandise. You will find, we've got shirts. We've got masks. We've got leggings. We've got hats. We've got all kinds of stuff out there. So we love to see people wearing those. So if you want to get some merchandise and, get it, wear it, tag us, let us know about it. And also Amazon, if you're going to buy things on Amazon, go to byppod.com, click on the Amazon link. It sends you to Amazon, buy things. We get a small kickback on the sales, which helps out the show immensely. So I guess that's it. With all that being said, John, anything else?
Don't be a Hitler. Blame your brother.